All right. How badly tilted is this? Can I straighten this out at all? Ooh, that's better. Ooh, it might actually be straight for once. That'd be a first for me. uh, Here we go. All right. Got this, got that. Hello. I know what I forgot. As soon as I saw my hand up there. There we are. Much better. Oh, Brooklyn hair color of the Daleks. Oh boy, started early. Yeah, hey everybody. The K ring. I just think of it as the pride ring, given that I usually my answer to the question of are you gay is probably not in the way you're asking me. So, you know. The Toreador from London. Hi there, Kara. Is it Kara? I've seen it pronounced both ways. I don't know. Hi from Australia. Ravenclaw from Sweden. Hey, everybody. Hello, people I haven't said it to. Mistress of all Daleks. Oh, that'd be a heck of a title. By the way, about your shirt, Professor Oak wants to know your location. Like, I'm not sure if you're making a note about this shirt or this shirt. Yeah, Canada. How do you feel about David? Oh, the David and Dan, the Game of Thrones, helming a new Star Wars trilogy, as Bob Iger recently announced. That wasn't a recent announcement. That was announced like a year ago, or at least that it was in development. Maybe it got confirmed recently. Like, I don't. I know a lot of people have turned on on Game of Thrones lately, and not to say that I'm loving this season. I'm not, but I don't think I'm as prepared to, string up the writers as other people are. At least not as quickly, anyways. Uh, we got Pirates, we got Indiana, we got Carowin. Boy, everybody's here. Zimbabwe. Oh, dang. Oh, are you a boy or a girl from the first game? See, that's like, I knew that the thing that you were making a Pokemon thing, but like I don't know Pokemon well enough. I didn't catch it. Oh, Channel Pup is in the house. I got pop-ups I gotta clear off. Go away. Manchester. Oh God, you folks in the UK, it's early AM over there, so my apologies that you are even here for this. So let's see here. Let's have a fun evening, shall we? So I'm trying to debate whether I want to do a little back and forth on a few things or whether we jump right to the hair. Because I know that's like what the name on the live stream is, pitching. So we'll see. Water. Yes. No, I've like no pretense. I'm not drinking water tonight. He's on the booze. It's just cider. It's not like it's vodka. Was it me or was the new Aladdin clip terrible? I don't know. Didn't watch it. Like, I'll believe that it was, but no, I don't know. I didn't see it. Hair. All right. There it is. Oh, it feels really good to have it refreshed. Like, I don't even think I can begin to tell you, like how nice it feels to have the, like, it'll come in front of my face and I'll like catch it in the corner of my eye, like how vibrant the color is again, and oh, feels so good. The colors, I really do love these colors. Like at some point in the future I might try to, because like these are the same colors that I did before, although it's a little bit heavier on the pink, and also we did kind of a bleed over between the blue and the pink, so it actually goes purple. at some of the crossover points, which we didn't do last time. But like the core colors are the same that I've had before. I just haven't had it refreshed in, God, 10 months. So like, and it faded to all heck. In the future, I'd like to look into and consider getting some different colors. The main reason I stuck with these is because they faded so well. And I don't know when I'll be able to afford to get this done, because like I don't do this myself. I don't know when I'll be able to afford to get it done professionally again. So, you know, just just decided to stick with the colors that faded well. I had mine that pink all over last year. Loved it, but it didn't last long. I mean, like, it starts to fade back for a while, but like this pink is persistent. Like when my hairdresser, when Ginge, bleached this to re-dye it, the bits that had been pink before still had a little bit of pink in them, even with all the bleach working at it. Like, this pink is persistent as heck. By the way, Mr. Ratburn from Arthur is confirmed gay in the show by having him married. I did see that. I saw that news story, and which is nice. My daughter watches Arthur sometimes, so I kind of like that. That's like potentially just like in her radar that she might just see that. That'll be very cool. What's your favorite Moffat series? Your favorite Russell T Davies series? Which is the best out of the two? Favorite Russell T Davies is Series 4. Favorite Moffat is Series 10. And I probably pick Series 4 over Series 10. It is close, though. It isn't pink, it's pink. Yeah. Have you seen Neil Gaiman's American Gods yet? I haven't. I mean, I read the book ages ago. I like the Nancy Boys better. But no, I still haven't seen the show. Oh, and there it is. What are your pronouns? Whatever you feel like. Whatever feels right to say. And everybody take a drink. Thoughts on Brooklyn Nine-Nine being renewed for another season? Gives me one more year to try and catch up because I'm still behind a bit on that. I'm having a hard time catching up on things. Does your shirt count as part of the drinking game? I don't think so, because it's like it's answering the question that it's asking. So, I mean, if you want to use it as an excuse to take an extra drink, by all means, go for it. I helped launch a book today after 9 months slogging times. Congratulations. Like, getting stuff off the ground, especially like stuff that takes as long as a book, because even if you've like got the spark to like sit down and crank out the entire thing, it always takes so much longer than you think it does, because like until you've seen something truly through to completion, I think a lot of us in our mind, we think if I write it, it'll be done. Except you write it, and then you revise it, and then you revise it again, then you have people actually read it, and then you realize, crap, what I thought was coming across wasn't, and then you go through revisions based off that, then you finally put it in the hands of an editor, and like, it's a slog of a process. And like, as someone who's gone through it, it's kind of nuts. I'm gonna do it again at some point, I'm sure. I'm gonna get myself a drink now. Drinking tea. Tea's always good. I'm like, I have coffee to start my morning, but after that I stick with tea. I'm a tea drinker throughout the day. I wrapped up filming on my own little Spider-Man short today. Did my best to make it work with a distinctive and original narrative for the genre. Just hope it works. Fingers crossed for your channel, pup. I had been following that you had that cooking. And I just hope it comes out to your satisfaction, because I know from experience that the unfortunate truth of YouTube is the amount of time you spend working on something is not automatically going to be reflected in the amount of attention that it gets. Like some of the stuff I spent the most time working on, not a lot of attention, not a lot of views, not a lot of sharing, but I'm still proud of them. So it makes it worth it. Okay, bye. Don't know who's saying bye, but okay. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I didn't really want to get into it because it's. Oh, sorry. I'm getting in on a internal conversation that went on there. So sorry about that. Cool here. Random Game of Thrones question, YouTube crossover question. Have you seen Jenny Nicholson's Tyrion parody? I have not. I've only seen sporadic bits of Jenny Nicholson. I'm not subscribed to her. I liked the little bits that I saw, but just not enough to follow what she did. So no, I haven't seen that. What I got sort of shared with what was sent to my comment section was, God, I can't remember the channel now, but somebody did this sketch of the writers of Game of Thrones dropping the ball, and it's just this back and forth of, and you know, it's barely costumes, it's just like a tag. One guy, you know, George R.R. Martin, actually it's the same guy, but like in one shot it's George R.R. Martin, the other side writers. He's like, okay, he takes a ball and it says like it's winter on it. Okay, so this, we've been building up to this for a while, so he tosses it to them. Oh, this is very cool. Ooh, we dropped the ball. Yeah, you did. You dropped the ball in that. And they keep tossing them balls. It's like, Daenerys, Tyrion's intelligence. And they just keep dropping the balls. It's funny because it's also short. It's like a minute and a half, which is the perfect length for that kind of sketch. I always get really nervous when I like click on something that's meant to be a comedy sketch and I see a runtime of more than 3 minutes. I'm like, but it's tight. It's cool, and you need to find that if you haven't seen it. Recently did a double feature on Big Lebowski and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It actually fits decently. I guess so, because I guess that's the extreme mellow and the extreme paranoia ends of the drug use spectrum. To back those two. Puns are the best jokes. No, puns are the worst jokes, but worst in the best way. Doris Day did pass away. And I actually realized that I don't think I've ever seen anything that Doris Day is in. I know the name, she's a legend, but I don't think I actually ever saw a Doris Day movie, which was a little bit of an odd thing to realize. Hold on. Is there something that went on here? Hold on. Give me a second, guys. I feel like I am being directed on something here that I'm trying to... okay, yeah. Sorry, something got weird there. Apologies. Let me get back to where I was. Okay. Any USA people in the chat? Well, I mean, there's me. If you can, Calamity Jane is a really great movie of Doris Day's. Okay. Oh man, yeah. Tim Conway passed away too. Yeah, it's been a few lately. We had Peter Mayhew, you know, a couple weeks back. Boy. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to be going to silent. Jay, could you repeat? Yeah, like somebody tried to draw my attention to something earlier and I missed it. Yeah, like people are telling me to go check out Jay Stevens' comment, and I tried to go back, but guys, this thing keeps scrolling. So for me to like go back and see something is is really difficult. So if he could either say it again or if somebody could quote, okay, here we go. Seeing you on social media be so free with your sexuality and gender inspired me to come out as bisexual to my mom. She took it well, and she honestly wasn't bothered. Oh my gosh. Yes! That is so wonderful to hear. Because I know, like, coming out is one of the most stressful things that you have to end up doing. So many people, I feel it gets hammered in with most media representations and most stories that get told of coming out of people who didn't accept, or at least not right away, or people who got thrown out of the house and all that. And it can go well. It's still scary regardless, but like it can go well. And that is, mwah. Oh, that is beautiful. I was kind of mad, but I laughed when they dropped the ball that says Tyrion's intelligence and the one that says Jaime's redemption arc. Yeah. Yeah. I personally, as like, for my own opinions, I like that that sketch ended on the Brienne joke. But, you know. Have you seen any Brooklyn Nine-Nine episodes that you disliked? Not yet. I mean, like I said, I'm still behind, so unless it's like gone off the cliff in the last few seasons, which I haven't heard has been the case. No, I've liked everything I saw. This is really hard. I had an easier time with my mom because I was nervous to tell my dad because of his beliefs and how he acts, but even he took it well. Aww. I love this community. Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, it was really scary as I have anxiety, but she honestly didn't seem annoyed. She even asked me what I want for dinner afterwards. Oh, this is heartwarming. Dang. It's Wild Styles hair. Oh, God. Oh, crap. I guess it kind of is. From your perspective, when it comes to entertainment, what do you feel crosses the line from imitation to ripoff? It's really hard to define. Like trying to define the lines between homage, parody, imitation, ripoff, tribute. Trying to parse all that out. It's like that old quote. I don't know if it was a Supreme Court quote, but it's like that old legal quote. I can't define obscenity, but I know it when I see it. It is kind of the same thing. Like it's really hard to say this is the line where it crosses into being a ripoff versus any of the other things it could possibly be. And it really is a case-by-case basis. And also, part of that's shaded by personal bias because depending on how strongly you feel about whatever it is that is being imitated or ripped off, you might feel more harshly about people who are copying it, whereas other things you might not care about so much. So, tropes exist all over the place. So it is hard to know where the lines actually are. I don't really have any LGBTQ stories being a straight male. However, my sister has been in a relationship with a French lady named Coco. They both work at Disneyland as chipmunks. That is the most adorable thing that I have seen today. Oh, man. Been together almost 10 years. Well, congrats to them. I can't remember if I shared this story before. So, like, after I came out to my mother, she didn't see me in. Like these days, I do this. It's fairly blended. I fall like day to day. I might fall in the middle or waver or whatever. But like back when I first came out to my mother, I had a very firm line. I had a wall between male and female presentation. It was all one or all the other. I didn't mix it up. So she didn't actually see me presenting feminine for several years after I came out to her. Because, she's never been to one of my shows, and she just wouldn't have occasion. Like, I offered if she wanted to see pictures, and initially she was just kind of like, no. And I think it was just kind of, I think I offered that too quick, and then it just kind of fell to the wayside. But what happened was, and this would have been about almost 9 years ago now, when I first moved back to Vermont. So initially, because I was still with my daughter's mother at that point, and we lived with my mother briefly while we were working on getting our own place. And I went and I did Vermont Pride that year. And I came back, still in all this stuff, and I was in these platform boots and this short skirt. I think I might have even had fishnets on. So I come into the house with all this stuff on and a wig and full makeup and like double D breast forms. And I come into the house and she's just in the kitchen. She just kind of looks at me and pauses and goes, "You're really tall." And I just love that. That was a wonderful moment. I don't know if anybody in real life except my significant other knows I'm Demi. Internet friends do though, which is nice. It is always nice to have some. It is always nice to have people who know, whether it be online, in person, both, everybody, or just somebody, just to know it's not, um, something that you're holding on completely yourself. That's where it can get to be an issue. I'm a straight male. I have a lot of bisexual friends, and every day I go to the band hall to see two girls. Ooh, I lost it. See two girls cuddling. um, which final season do you think is the worst, Gotham or Game of Thrones? Well, I mean, Game of Thrones isn't done yet. We got an episode left to go. I think it's tough to call. Potentially, it might end up being Game of Thrones because I think because of the overarching story nature of the show, I think a bad ending has the potential to taint enjoyment of the earlier seasons because you realize they're not building to a strong conclusion, and I think that has the potential to taint the overall experience more than season 5 of Gotham, because I can go back and watch earlier seasons of Gotham and just revel in the madness of it. Whereas I think depending on this, I mean, I don't think this is a particularly strong last episode for Game of Thrones. I don't think one last episode's gonna save it, but it might determine how far up or down that ends up ultimately landing. Hair is beautiful. Thank you very much. WTF Gotham. Yeah. Like, Gotham was so weird to me because, like, they had an absolute perfect setup to just go nuts with all the toys they already had, all the characters they'd already established, and they instead brought in Nyssa Al Ghul and Bane. Why? I will never understand that decision. I know what that's like. When I came out to my mom, she misunderstood what I was telling her and thought I was saying I was a cross-dresser until I went full-time a year later. Yeah, it's getting parents to understand can be a tricky thing. And like initially, I actually was just coming out to my mother as a cross-dresser because I hadn't wrapped my head around gender fluid at that point. The other the other thing was when I came out to my mother, we were still in New York, and I was like, can you sit down? I have something I want to talk to you about. And when I told her, her initial reaction was, "Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were going to tell me that you two were going to have a kid and you're not ready yet." And I was like, "Well, no." So that was interesting. They dropped the No Man's Land ball. Oh boy, they dropped that hard, yeah. Danny the Dalek Queen. Who's Nyssa Al Ghul? Exactly. That's my point right there. I'm trans and sometimes I don't get it. Oh yeah, like that's, and that I think like, serious note, I think that's something that's helpful for us to remember, that being part of the LGBTQ plus community doesn't give you like the all access master key to understand everything that's going on. There's stuff I still have to do work to wrap my head around and like talk about correctly or respectfully. So yeah, it's a learning process for everybody. Thoughts on the Rosa Marcus subplot in season 2 and 3 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Oh god, it's been too long, man. You can't go that specific on me on that show. It's been too long for me to remember, break this stuff down. My 7-year-old son said he would wear a dress if it was pink. Made me smile that he felt comfortable telling me that. Oh, and like that's a real good sign of a strong relationship that you have with him, that he is okay telling you that, regardless of whether he ever does it or not. The fact that he knows he can talk to you about that and just say that and be okay, That's a wonderful thing. A review of what is behind you. Oh God, all this stuff. It's dude, I don't know. It's a lot. I mean, it's some of this is stuff I've gone over in previous videos, and most of the rest of it I talked about like in March, because I received a whole bunch of stuff sent to my PO box and off my Amazon wish list for my birthday. So, like it's just too much. Never thought I could be sexually attracted to a car, but the '60s Batmobile is just oof. I confuse myself over whether I should say I'm pan or bi, but I feel much more comfortable with the label of bi for some reason, which is fine. And like that's the funny thing about like labels. Labels can really be a double-edged sword. If you find one that actually does bring you a lot of comfort and feels stabilizing, that's an amazing thing. But like if you can't find one that feels quite right, I've seen people like twist themselves around to try and fit a label that's close to them but isn't quite them, just to try and feel like they belong more. And like I've seen that go wrong too. So they can really go either way sometimes. The first shelf video was about 45 minutes, if anyone is curious. My son wears pink sparkly chucks too. If you ever win the lottery, which Batmobile are you getting? Batman '89. I don't even have to hesitate on that. Does taking drugs to reduce testosterone reduce your libido? So for context, I've talked about, I think I've mentioned it on here, and I've talked about this on the Vera Wild channel. I am on spironolactone, which is a testosterone reducer. I'm not on a dose that like brings me down to like next to zero, but I'm on like basically what amounts to a half dose versus someone who is transitioning to full time as a woman. So short answer to your question is yes. My libido, my sex drive is down slightly. Without getting obscene about it, sexual function is not affected. But I'm a little bit less likely to initiate anything than I was previously. But it hasn't like plummeted. It hasn't like gone to nothing. So it's been a shift to that. Honestly, I'm pretty okay with. Let's see. Whoop, let me get that on there. I have many little Batmobiles. Can't relate as I don't have a car. There's some interesting conversations going on in here. Can you start doing rankings as premieres so we can guess what your picks will be? Rankings of what? I'm not sure I'm totally getting the question there. Channel Pup, I'm not even going to repeat that question because that's just too ridiculous. Have you ever seen Supernatural? No, I have not. Fights my gender in a Starbucks car park. Oh, is that why there was the cup in Game of Thrones? You left it there, you went to go battle your gender. Just got out of the shower, so I'll only be on a little because I have to go to bed in 5 to 10 minutes. All right. I see a Totoro. Dang right you do. Actually, he's a little... There we go. I am most purely attracted to females sexually and almost purely to men romantically. Is that just the same as bisexual? Bisexual would be the easy, like punchy way to say it. So like, I would say that's like bisexual with an asterisk. There's probably terminology that is more specific to your situation that might apply, but like I don't think you're mislabeling yourself if you were to call yourself bisexual. Wait, so for someone who doesn't know things, how does reducing testosterone change how you feel mentally, physical, whatever, since it's not like you're also taking estrogen? Okay, so hang on. So here was sort of the operating theory that my primary care physician and I were operating on when we decided to try putting me on testosterone blockers, which is that like I am gender fluid, so my sense of self meanders one way or the other. But the thing is that because I was born male, and like biologically that's where things are, that means that when I, however I'm feeling, my default setting, like if male is over here and female is over here, my default was always heavily this way just because of my own physical makeup. So the idea of reducing my testosterone was basically to sort of bring my neutral to being something closer to the middle, so that like day to day I'm not automatically already leaning masculine, because that means if I want to go feminine, it's a lot of work to get this over the other way. But if it's closer to the middle, it becomes almost an equal amount of work for me to go feminine or to go masculine, or to just leave it more in the middle. So that was sort of the idea of reducing the testosterone without upping estrogen. And it's worked out well for me. The side effects have been, well, like the most severe potential side effect was sterility. I got a vasectomy anyways, so like that wasn't something I was worried about. And other side effects have been non-existent to manageable. So, we're about to be educated when he takes a swig before talking. I want to eat the muffin. Oh, jeez, friggin' muffin, man. So do people actually like Hershey's and other American chocolates, or is it all just denial? The thing is, like, Hershey's is practically a monopoly in a lot of ways. Like, you have to go out of your way to get chocolate that isn't Hershey's or isn't that style or isn't trying to be like Hershey's. It's not like it's impossible to find, but like Hershey's is easy to get and cheap. So it's what most people have ready access to, regardless of whether it's what they prefer or not. A whole station about muffins down here. Oh, I know, Andrew. I know. It is wonderful here, isn't it? Yes! Yes, it is. Hershey's is nasty. Hershey's is great. Like, and also, like, worth acknowledging, some people do genuinely like it as well. Like, I'm kind of indifferent. Like, milk chocolate is, I mean, it's not my least favorite kind of chocolate, but I would call it my least favorite kind of typical chocolate. Because in my mind, it's milk, white, and dark. And out of those, like, milk chocolate's my least favorite. And that's Hershey's entire thing, for the most part. I admit that Cadbury's much richer, and just UK chocolate in general feels like a tier above American chocolate. Yeah, that's valid. Favorite Ben & Jerry's. Favorite current Ben & Jerry's is it depends on my mood. It's either going to be Coffee Coffee Buzz 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 or Triple Caramel Chunk. It was Vermonty Python, but they discontinued that flavor, which annoyed me. My favorite kind of chocolate is milk chocolate, white chocolate, dark, and mint chocolate. That's like all the chocolates, dude. Dude in the non-gendered form. Because anybody can be a dude. Oh, you know what? There was something I missed back here. Let me back up for a second. Stranger Things is getting the Lego treatment. Okay. I would like to see the Lego Demogorgon. Like, I want to see what that looks like. Polarizing question time. Sleep with socks on or off? And do you like mint and chocolate? Mint and chocolate is terrific. Socks on in cold weather. Otherwise, no. Thanks for your candor about your life experiences. Hey! Like, I'm... Look, can I be upfront? Part of it is the fact that I'm egotistical and I actually enjoy talking about myself, but, you know, even saying that and being a little bit flippant about it, part of it um, also just was knowing that people, or at least the people who had been actively supporting me and who care about me, don't flee from this stuff, from me, from who I am. So, you know, I can joke about how, um, you know, I'm egotistical, just like to talk to myself, and there's some truth to that. But even taking that into account, you know, I didn't come out on this channel till last year. I'm in my 8th year of doing this, so there obviously was still stuff that I was afraid of for a while. It feels good to not be afraid. It really, really does. Kinder eggs are are legal now. Uh, I know you've seen Endgame, but I thought I'd ask if you'd seen it anyways. Yes, I saw Endgame. Enjoyed it quite a bit, too. Also, salty caramel is my favorite. I do like salty caramel. I feel like that got overplayed. Like, not quite to pumpkin spice levels, but I do feel like salty caramel started turning up in too many things. Will you be watching the new Dune movie? Well, yeah. It's Denis Villeneuve. He makes good, interesting movies. Yeah, I'll watch that. I'm starting a new channel soon. Got any advice? Tell me anything good, and I'll subscribe on that account. Advice? No, I really don't. Like, the only advice I can give you is just be sure that whatever you do, that you will enjoy doing it even if nobody watches. Because statistically speaking, that's probably going to be what happens. So, you know, it's the same advice that I give anybody going into any creative endeavor, whether it be writing, filmmaking, or YouTube. And unless you've got some sort of true leg up or in, or something that you know, okay, if I do this, it will lead to something, or at least is very likely to. If you don't have that kind of leg up on what's going on, then just be sure you like what you're doing. Nutella is expensive. I never, like, Nutella's fine. I never got into the whole Nutella addiction. Did you hear rumors that there will be a musical episode in Series 12? No. No, I didn't hear that. I don't know how I feel about that. What reviewers do you watch online? I know you've mentioned Jeremy Jahns on your channel before, but do you watch him or any others? I do watch Jeremy Jahns. I watch Bob Chipman, whose movie Bob, his review, he keeps moving channels in terms of where his actual reviews go up. So he's back on The Escapist now. There aren't all that many just straight up reviewers. I mean, Stu Bagfull kind of is, at least in terms of Doctor Who specifically. Yeah, I used to watch Chris Stuckman years ago. I kind of fell off that. Not like he suddenly like got bad or anything. I'm just kind of like, I don't need to keep following this. So yeah, like, actually not all that many. Like, I enjoy the more in-depth stuff, like the video essay kind of things, like Lindsay Ellis does. Do you paint? No. In terms of the visual arts, like drawing, painting, like, no. I'm not good. My 7-year-old is already a better artist than I am, talking about that kind of stuff. Movie Bob's on Escapist again. Yeah, has been for a few months now. And he actually just finished, I guess he finished out his contract on Geek.com, so he's not on that channel anymore. Now he's just doing his reviews on The Escapist. And he's still got his own channel where he's doing the In Bob We Trust, and he's been working on the Star Wars Really That Good, like, forever. But that'll come out one of these days. I really like Fail Whale 34. His reactions are amazing. Not familiar with that one. Have you ever watched Saber Spark's videos? I feel like I've seen something from Saber Spark because I know that name. Shafrilla's Productions. That one I don't know. Yeah, oh yes, so the new Picard series is going up on Amazon. I did see that it got picked up. It was funny. I hadn't realized that it didn't actually have a network yet. And then I saw that news. I'm like, oh, okay. Did you see the series Dexter? Yes, I saw Dexter. My feelings about the finale at least are well documented, searchable on this channel. Oh, drink the pain away. What else was there? Oh, there were some trailers that came out today that they're like I'm finally remembering. I did have stuff I was going to talk about. There was a trailer. Well, there was the trailer for the Maleficent sequel. And I don't know what they're playing at with this. Because it feels like they're trying to evoke the evil wickedness of Maleficent again, but the entire first movie was ultimately was about how she's actually the hero of the story. And I'm like, what are you doing? Because, like, I'll grant you evil Maleficent is more fun, but, like, you made your bed. You need to lie in it. What is this? Do you think the new Picard series will be any good, given it's done by the same guy as Star Trek Discovery? I have no idea, because I haven't seen Star Trek Discovery. So I can't use that as a metric either way. Michelle Pfeiffer is the real villain, calling it out. Well, yeah. Like, Michelle Pfeiffer... I mean, she's really good as a villain, and like I predict that as well. But even if they're not turning Maleficent back into a villain, they're still very much, they want her to still come across as evil and wicked and scary, even though she wasn't that by the end of the first movie. So like they're really trying to have their cake and eat it too. I was surprised Maleficent got a sequel. I didn't think anyone but me actually liked it. I wanted to like it. I like the first act. I like the first 20 minutes or so. But it kind of falls apart for me after that. Have you seen The Magicians? I have not. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but no, I haven't gotten to that one. Do you think that if done well, Sea Devils could be very creepy in modern Who? Actually, like, modern Who has only really done anything even close to an underwater setting, I think once, and that was Cold War. So, honestly, yeah. I think if they did a story, like, set it in a trench, and, like, play the mystery, and don't spoil the Sea Devils in the marketing or the next time on Doctor Who or any of that. If they can keep a lid on it and give us like that creepy, the dark and the crushing depths of the ocean and what the heck is down here kind of thing, and then introduce the Sea Devils through that, and heck, they really want to go nuts, take another crack at the Merca through that. I think it could be really good. Potentially. That's always the thing. No idea is guaranteed to work, and I always have to specify that because Series 11 of Doctor Who actually did a lot of stuff that I said the show should do, but the execution still didn't actually have all of it work as well as I would have liked. So I always feel the need to add that. Oh yeah, the 12th Doctor one with the ghost. Yeah, that's right. So was after the flood, Under the Lake, and After the Flood. Although, like, I kept forgetting that one was set underwater because I felt like the focus was more on the ghosts. And since it was only a lake, it couldn't have that same, like, the crushing black depths of the ocean. So, I mean, while that one technically was underwater, it didn't quite have the vibe that I'm talking about. Maleficent frustrated me because it was just Disney making their version of Wicked, and if you wanted to make a story like Wicked, just make Wicked. Well, Disney didn't have the rights to Wicked. I don't know who does. It was Universal last I knew. Whoever it was has been sitting on it forever. Almost all ideas can be good. It's just how they're executed that determines their quality. That is incredibly true. Like, any idea can be done well, any idea can be done badly. Now, that said, I do think there are still good ideas and bad ideas insofar as some ideas are easier to make something good out of, and some ideas are much harder to make something good out of. So, like, on that scale, I would still say some core ideas can be better or worse, but even a terrible core idea can result in a good product. I mean, that's basically the entire filmmaking career of Lord Miller. Like, they just keep taking stuff that's like, that's a terrible idea, and they make something really good out of it. I honestly don't know how they do that. Wicked is still owned by Universal. The movie should be out next Christmas. I'm pretty sure that's been the case for the last few years running. Are you going to review Shazam? Review? I don't know. I mean, I'll see it eventually once I can get it on streaming. Oh! Speaking of streaming, Disney just bought Comcast out of their third ownership of Hulu. So Disney now basically owns Hulu, which initially made me think, oh, are they just going to fold all that into Disney Plus? But I don't think they are, because this is going to give them access to, and also a place to put, all of the more adult properties that they acquired through, like, say, the Fox deal. Because they got their hands on, like, a ton of stuff that they probably don't want to put the Disney brand name on, like Alien, like off the top of my head. So I have a feeling Hulu is going to become, for streaming, a bit like what Buena Vista Pictures is, or was at some point, for Disney Films, which is the banner under which stuff that is not necessarily true to the Disney branding that is still being released by the same company. So I figure that's how that goes. Any thoughts on the upcoming Watchmen series? I don't know what to make of that trailer. I really, really don't. Can they put Song of the South on there? I mentioned this in a live stream like a little bit ago. They have said they won't release it. I don't know why they're hiding from this movie at this point. It's not like we don't know what it is. We all know what it is. It's drawing more attention to it. The fact that they won't just release it, like, with, you know, just an intro at the front end saying, hey, context, we wouldn't make it this now, but it's a thing we did. I don't know. Do you think Doctor Who could make it with really out there story arcs, like having the Doctor turn evil for a few episodes? I don't know about having the Doctor turn evil. I think what you could do is you could do almost like a Doctor Light episode from the perspective of someone not on the TARDIS, like on a planet where the Doctor lands and stuff is going on. And what you could do is you could have the story from this person's perspective, so it becomes a bit like, say, Sally Sparrow in Blink, and there's, you know, this thing going on that is screwing everything up and that they're scared of, and you'd think it's a monster that the Doctor's ultimately going to come and save them from. You find out it's the Doctor, not because he's being evil, but because there's collateral damage to the stuff that he or she does. I keep defaulting to saying he. I'm trying to train myself to do they. So I think something like that could be a way to portray the Doctor in a different light without having to actually have them turn evil for a little bit, which I'm not going to say it's impossible to do well, but I think honestly it's just kind of cheesy. Would you be for having Rose or Captain Jack come back? Captain Jack, yes. Rose, no. Although I would like Billie Piper to come back as the Moment, as the Bad Wolf entity in some form. I don't know how. I don't know why. I would like that. Do you think it would boost the story if the Ninth Doctor was in Utopia? Not Not really. I don't think that would have had a huge, at least not as I'm picturing in my head. I don't think that would have had a huge impact either way. Do you think the epicness of Avengers Endgame kind of put a halt on any other MCU potential blockbuster to come out? Yes and no. Here's my expectation on that, because they've announced additional Marvel projects, of course, but they have not announced any more Avengers films. So for my money, they will stop having the big crossover event films, at least for a little while, because you kind of can't go bigger than Endgame went. So they're going to put the big crossover event films to bed, and like they'll probably just have more characters crossing over in smaller capacities in the normal films, kind of like how Doctor Strange just turned up in Thor Ragnarok. Well, at least you have that Disney attraction from Song of the South. Yeah, that's the other thing that's weird about the Song of the South thing, because they've got Thunder Mountain, and they still use Zippity Doo-Dah, and like just they're weird about it. I'd like to see 10 and 13 complimenting each other in a story and making fun of each other's long coats. I would. Now that I have a 10th Doctor coat, I would like 13 to point out you don't even have a slit down the back, so the minute the wind blows, the whole thing takes off. Like it's like the only long coat I have that doesn't have any kind of slit down the back for a split. It's just completely level. It's weird. I've never had a coat like that before. Gonna head out. Peace and stay aware of flying muffins. Oh, we are always aware. Is the Player of Games review still coming out in June? The other day my dad was like, the guy you gave this money to, is he actually doing anything? Oh, jeez. Well, I don't want to let down you or your dad. Yes, June is still the plan for that review. It is on, it's moving forward. I'm working on it. Yeah, so that will come out in June. So you can tell your dad that this total stranger who took your money said, "Oh yeah, it's coming." I'm sure he'll be totally reassured by that. Any news on the bisexual rep video? Yes, the person who I'm going to have on has started doing research and taking notes, because that's just kind of the kind of person they are. So knowing that they're doing that, hopefully that'll get shot soon. It may not end up being the June video. I may bump up my video on the bury your queers trope and do that for June. But by July, I should have that one. It's a process. Someone once joked about how you could have multi-Doctor stories with Series 8 Capaldi, Series 9 Capaldi, and Series 10 Capaldi, because they're all so different. They are, but I love that, because I do feel there is a trajectory and an arc. None of it feels like this isn't the same guy. Like, I feel like one logically leads from the other. Not everyone does, but I do. Do you watch any other English telly other than Doctor Who? I don't think there's anything else that's like current that I'm watching for British TV. Like, I've watched tons of British TV over the years. I don't think there's any other currently running shows that I watched, though. My mother is completely engrossed in Midsummer Murders, so that's become her new binge. What is your shirt? What does my shirt say? My shirt says, "Are you a boy or a girl? Sometimes." I wanted to see 11 and 13. They're both so bouncy. Are you going to do a video about the whole Game of Thrones series? Probably not. Like I'm debating. Like I feel like everybody and their brother's gonna do this, but I'm debating doing a video talking about why season 8 has gone down the way it has, but I feel like a ton of people are going to be doing that, so I might not have much of a contribution there. What I'm definitely going to be doing is Liz and I will be doing a top 10 characters from Game of Thrones once it ends, like we did for Buffy, and actually later this week we did for Gotham. So that'll be out on Friday. So we'll be doing that for Game of Thrones too. That's probably about as close as I'll come though, because like to do like a proper overview review, I'd have to go back and rewatch a whole bunch of it, which it's not like I'm opposed to. I'd be happy to, but I don't have the time. You know, day job. As long as I am holding down a day job and this is not paying my bills, I just don't have the time to do some of these bigger projects. And the ones that I'm tackling, like they take a while to get to. T-shirt idea. People think gender is a simple male or female, but it's more like a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. Nicely done, Ben. And to whoever is talking Wheel of Time, I have such high hopes for the series. Oh, I forgot that got optioned. Gotham is underrated on Series 4 with the pig murder. Oh, Professor Pig was great. I really loved that little mini arc in Season 4. Favorite episode of Red Dwarf? It's probably Marooned. I think so. So we need to get this to be your day job. Not to overplug myself, but ideally, yeah. Like there's a lot more that I could get done if the Patreon ever grows to the degree where it's enough to pay my bills. Because to get an idea of just sort of format, and would just be a baseline. If you go back and look a month or two ago at like my Titans review, that took me a long time to do, but sort of that level of presentation, of integrating the footage more, of having it more of a structured thing, where I'm really breaking it through in order to make an overall point about something. I would like to do more things like that, but the reason it's hard for me to do it is because they are such a time sink, and like I could realistically probably only crank out something of that style maybe if I'm lucky once a month, and even that is pushing it, depending on what it is I'm working on. So like this month I'm working on a thing with Cowboy Bebop that is taking me forever, and I'm going to be really happy with the results, I'm pretty sure, and it's the kind of thing I would like to do more of, because it's like going to be an overview of the whole series, but it's really hard to find the time, while also holding down a 9 to 5. That's just kind of what it is. I did send you an email pertaining to suggestions for Patreon. Yes, Cass, I got that. And actually, some of those suggestions were pretty helpful, and some of them are liable to get integrated. So you might actually see some of those things come in, and that I appreciate that. Like I appreciate the support I get on Patreon. I appreciate the people dropping in the tip jar on the live streams. I appreciate people just watching. I appreciate all of it always, and knowing that people want to see me get better and to succeed at doing this, that's heartwarming stuff. And maybe at some point we'll get there. I'll keep plugging away at it. I love it too much to stop, regardless. And some days it really does feel like a pipe dream. The idea that that this, between, revenue off of the videos themselves and Patreon, that this could actually be my living. And other times it's like, I think I could get there. But, who knows? And I think the other thing is, like, if I had full days to put into this, not only do I think I could get more done video wise, I think I'd actually have time to get other stuff done. So, like, I've got 3 novels in various stages of completion. I've got one that's basically done and needs fine tuning. I've got one that's almost done, and I've got one that I'm about a third of the way into. But trying to get these to a state of polish is, again, it's more time, and it's the one thing that I can't make more of. You're really good at it. We love watching you. Thank you, Maureen. Why are you so surprised? Because despite my ego, which I do have a sizable one, I never stop being surprised at people connecting with anything that I do. That's always what I hope for, but there's always the nagging voice in the back of your head that says nobody cares. But, like, I have enough of an ego that I push through that and say, I don't care, I'm doing it anyways. But there's still part of me that thinks nobody will ever see this, and if they do, they won't care. So anything that gives me the concrete evidence that it is not the case is always going to kind of surprise me in a great way. I like Thanos' new plan way more than the original one, creating a new universe with no suffering. I mean, like, people had picked apart his original plan, so I do think it was actually interesting in Endgame that he revised and updated his plan. Want to ego battle with me? I think you'll find a suitable challenge. Indeed. I don't know where I was going with that. Book. What about? Oh God. Okay, so I have a fantasy world. One basically completed book. Like, it needs. I've had a couple of people read it. I need more beta readers. I need an editor. And, like, there's the whole process to go through on that. But I've also got another book set in that same world that is basically done. I've got a third book kind of outlined. And then the one that I've started working on that I'm about a third of the way into is actually a... It's a polyamory romance book, which is a bit outside my wheelhouse writing wise, but I'm enjoying working on. Are the new colors significant? Yes, they fade well, so I can get away without having to pay to get this refreshed for a while. That reminds me, we're not done with that. Yes, I know. Am I late? A little. We're going to be wrapping up soon. Which one do you like more, Dark Crystal or Labyrinth? I mean, I like Dark Crystal, don't get me wrong, but Labyrinth every day, twice on Sundays. I'm not a fan of prequel series that disregard its source material and then go, no, it's fine, we'll fix it later. And I don't trust these writers to pull something together as well. Oh, I'm assuming we're talking about the potential Game of Thrones prequels. Well, the first thing to realize is it's not going to be the same people who are doing the series proper. They've got completely new people pitching these Game of Thrones prequel series. So if you're worried about the people involved, it's new people. So be aware of that. Hey, we always get those doubts in our heads as creators. Oh, yeah. I always think my writing will never matter. And same for my artist friends who get nothing, but like 3 reblogs and tweets online. Yeah, like you'll go for a while of stuff like being middling in terms of reaction response, little to nothing, and if you're lucky, every now and then something will sort of take off and do better than you expect, or get a more heartfelt reaction than you expect, and that's sometimes that stuff keeps you going. Seriously, you are amazing. Love your work. You are a true inspiration. Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate that. Medieval? Oh, you mean like for the fantasy novels? A bit sort of steampunky in terms of setting. Yes, I thought about Lord of the Rings prequel too. Are you publishing under a pen name? Well, I mean like fiction. Fiction. I have. I wrote a play under Vera Wild. That's available on Amazon. You need to be 18 if you're going to buy that play, though. But the fantasy novels, like my fiction in terms of short stories, or what I've submitted short stories around, the book I've shopped around, Nobody's Bitten. Like if I ever publish that, that'll probably go under my legal name, which is Nathaniel Wayne. But I published basically an autobiography and a play under Vera Wild. You said you didn't finish a few notes on the culture because it felt like homework. I'm curious, without that, did you get that Banks meant the culture to be a utopia? Yeah, like I've picked up most of what I've needed from context, which is how I prefer to get it. So I've been okay. Doctor Who prequel, anyone? No. No. We call it Classic Who. There you go. I like you answered almost all my questions. Well, you're welcome. It's funny, like I don't mean to. I feel like I tend to answer questions from the same people a lot. I actually don't mean to play favorites, and I hope it never comes across like I do. But like for some reason my eyes just zero in on some things, and it creates a pattern. The Frozen Plains and The Magician's Apprentice could have been so much more. That's possible. Nathaniel Wayne, Bruce Wayne's lesser known brother. Well, actually, if you know your DC Batman lore, Nathaniel Wayne was in fact Bruce Wayne's ancestor from closer to colonial times. Look at the big nerd brain on me. Nathaniel and fans, no. Hollywood, yes. This means yes. More prequels. Pretty much. Do you have a guilty pleasure form of entertainment? Mine are trashy romance novels a la Harlequin. I legit bought a Kindle so people wouldn't see me reading them. Yes, but I'm also going to asterisk that because generally I don't describe much of anything as a guilty pleasure because I don't believe in feeling guilt about the things that you enjoy, so long as what you enjoy doesn't cause harm to anyone else. If you like it, you should not feel guilt in it. So, and also, because I don't go in for the so bad it's good, there's a lot of things that for other people are guilty pleasures, but there are things that I enjoy that I'm like, I get why people don't dig this. So there are things like that. Gotham, honestly, is that a little bit for me. I love it to death, but it's glorious trash. Or things like Repo the Genetic Opera. Again, I love it, but it's insane. If I were to single something out, though, I suppose I have I have a soft spot for naughty comics. So, like, senior year of high school, I started reading heavy metal. And, one of my favorite comic book artist and writers is Richard Moore, who's best known for Boneyard, which is kind of PG-13-ish, but he also does a fair amount of very porn comics, and I think he's a fantastic artist, and I enjoy that stuff. And that's not something that I tend to talk about too much because I don't know. Yeah, I think you get weird looks, like talking about that. So I guess if there was gonna be anything like that, I might label a bit of a guilty pleasure. I think I do like those kinds of comics are not on the shelf with most of my others in the more public areas of the house. They are they are a way where they're not just gonna get glanced at. So yeah, I suppose there's a little guilt, there's a little blush in the cheeks on those. Heavy metal like the movie. Yes, that heavy metal. This is a proudly weird community. Amen. I think Big Finish have milked the Time War. They haven't. I'm actually curious to check that out because I don't think the show should ever do the Time War, like ever. But Big Finish, one of the things I really like about Big Finish is because they don't have to visualize stuff, they can actually do much more abstract ideas. And so I actually think the Time War is potentially a better fit there. As a heavy metal fan, did you watch Metal Hurlant Chronicles, the TV show? No, I'm not familiar with that. My guilty pleasure was Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you see, I still love it and I'm not ashamed anymore. Yay! In case you didn't catch my last comment, the Doctor Who prequel thing was a joke. Please don't destroy me. Today I shall be kind. Well, that's it for my cider. That might be the cue to look into wrapping it up for the night. I don't know if I feel guilty about it, but I love Yao. Like, given what I labeled as my guilty pleasure, I'm not going to blame you if you do feel a little guilty about it. But, yeah, no. No shame in that if you don't want to feel it. Guilty pleasures are weirdly wholesome. Think Pollyanna. Guilty pleasure is the Street Fighter movie. There is no guilt in the Street Fighter movie. That is glorious. What do we say to the goddess of nerd rage? Not today. Mine was Drawn Together. Oh, Drawn Together. That's a solid candidate for guilty pleasure. I think I did about a season and a half. Then I just kind of faded on it. But yeah, I did see enough of it to, yeah, solid. You drink and know things, weird things, but you know things. I might steal that. My guilty pleasure is the Doom movie. Underrated. Like, honestly, it's not great, but like, it deserves more respect than it gets. I think mine is Sky High. Oh, I feel bad now because I ripped into that movie a couple months ago. Oops. Guilty pleasure reigning supreme. Total Drama and the Supergirl movie. All right. I did 2 seasons of Total Drama. I did Total Drama Island, which I loved. And then it was, I think, Total Drama Camp. Something like that. I know it kept going after that. I'm like, oh god, they're gonna keep milking this, and I backed off. But like those first couple seasons, I love those. Those were awesome. King Kong 2005 is the best movie ever made. Do not debate me on this. Yeah, go ahead, have it. Vera knows much, tells some, knows things others do not. Ooh, I like that too. Guilty pleasure. Mine might have been the Watchmen movie. Oh. I have so much anger at the Watchmen movie. Oh, like I remember coming out of that movie, and I saw it with my daughter's mother, and she was like, "I don't think it was very good." And I tried to explain, no, but it's this and it's that, and I realized I'm explaining why the comic was good, and I'm not defending this movie. I'm making excuses for it. And then I looked at it with a more critical eye and went, "No, I hate this." I know I have friends who love the Watchmen movie, and I'm still friends with them. So like it's valid. But, oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Have you read The Name of the Wind? I have not. My guilty pleasure is light novels, which are the trashy anime, which are like the trashy anime are adapted from. I have the ultimate cut of Watchmen on Blu-ray. I enjoy it a lot. I'm glad. I'm glad you do. So you like Bad Boys? I was so bad at being a boy, I became a girl. Do you watch YouTube in your free time? What do you watch? Yeah, sometimes. Trying to think. I mentioned some of them are the few reviewers I watch. Movie Bob, Jeremy Johns. I like Yahtzee Crowshaw's stuff. Stu Bagful, Ace Creeper, Crispy Pro, SNES Drunk. I enjoy. Like John Oliver, he upload huge chunks of Last Week Tonight, go up on YouTube. I'll watch those there. There's other stuff, but I'm just drawing. Lindsay Ellis, Folding Ideas, Innuendo Studios. So yeah, like I'll fall down a YouTube rabbit hole sometimes. I really should wrap it up though, because oh god, it's past 10 o'clock my time. I need to shoot a video. I gotta edit another one, and I gotta get my my fabulous looking butt into bed. So do you think Stu Bagful is the Doctor Who review equivalent of Yahtzee? I'm not sure, but it's not an unfair comparison. So remember, we care. I care about you too. All of you. I hope that you have a wonderful night or morning, depending on where you're located. Wonderful week, wonderful month. However long things can be wonderful, I hope that for all of you. You are beautiful, you're valid, you're loved, and I'll see you live again in a week.